Hey there guys, so just doing a short video basically on the bench press and what I'm doing for programming and why it's just climbing of late. So for me, got a big powerlifting comp April 23rd, so I'm pretty much in comp prep mode. For me, when I'm in a comp prep, I change the way I train quite significantly. Um, and I'm typically going with more singles. So a training session for me would be work up to the top single for that day, followed by 4 back off sets of roughly 5 reps. That's normally on a Monday, and then on a Thursday is my lighter bench press day. Typically 4 sets of 10, and I drop the weight by about 20%. And obviously that's 20% of the back off sets, obviously not from the single, otherwise that would not be an easy training session. Um, I found, this style of training, it can be very hit and miss. Some comp preps it works really, really well, and other comp preps not so. The comp preps where it works, generally I've had a decent off season and I've put together a clean movement pattern. I've worked on my weaknesses and I'm not going into the comp prep carrying any light injuries of any sort. If you try and do singles every week, even if they're sub-maximal and you have, some underlying issues, it doesn't always work the best, especially when you're really trying to push it when you have a competition coming up. It's a little bit different if you're trying to build your bench in general and you can take, a session off as a deload. But in a competition prep, you don't really have that luxury most of the time because, the weeks are ticking by and time is against you. The off season and doing, the sets of 10, that just helps me build a lot more mass. So very much like a bodybuilder style program. But then with the heavy singles, you just learn how to coordinate that additional muscle mass, and then you end up with a bigger lift on comp day. Same thing is, happening with my squats. I hit a paused squat of 275 kilos, and that's a very big improvement. I'm pretty sure that's 15 kilos up from last comp prep. I think if I really pushed it again this week, I could probably squat 287 and a half. The pause wouldn't be as long, but my squat's definitely going up. And it's the same approach. In the off season, I did a whole lot of rep work, did heaps and heaps of front squats. You'll notice I very rarely traditionally squat. I only stick to front squats, and that's because my weakness for me is going to be core and lower back, so they're the things that I'm addressing. Legs for me have never been a weakness, so there's no point in traditional squatting if that's not my weakness. I need front squats to help bring it up. So yeah, same with the bench press. I did a lot of overhead work as well, and a lot of stone over the yoke, just to help with upper back development, shoulder stability, a lot of the one arm shoulder press, definitely with the stones as well. Got a lighter one. And I used to do 10 reps one side, 10 reps the other, and then just keep switching back and forth, basically until I couldn't get sets of 10. So I got a really good pump in my shoulders and upper back as well as triceps. And for me, this comp prep, building mass in the chest isn't going to help me. It's going to be more about building a bit more mass in my shoulders, biceps, and triceps. Biceps for me just help with elbow stability. And then, the stones are also going to help with bigger forearms. So I'm really going to start prioritizing them and doing quite a few walks for distance with stones, because it's going to be my hands that give out, especially with a lighter stone. It's not going to be my lower back or core. It's still going to get worked significantly, but it's definitely going to be my grip that gives out. And stronger forearms and biceps just help with stability on bench press. The more stable you are under load, the more you're going to lift. And that's why for me, working the upper back, just to have more mass in that area, is going to help with stability. And then again, you look at the front squat, same rule applies. I end up with a stronger abs and stronger lower back, and that's just helping me stabilize the weight. So that's why that lift then climbs as well. Deadlifts, I'm doing them. Got them today actually. They're moving really, really well. I'll post some videos up later. I'm just trying to keep that pretty much under wraps for the time being. But Yeah, bench press for me, as I said, just working more with the singles, and the back off sets have really, dropped in terms of volume for the rep work. So just 4 sets of 5. The other thing I will mention, because I bench pressed yesterday, so today I'll end up doing push-ups, and they're high rep. Not ridiculously high rep, just like sets of 25 reps, which is really comfortable. But when you drop the break times down to 2 minutes, and you do set after set after set after set, fatigue sets in, and you end up failing. But the reason I put the push-ups in as opposed to just more light bench, with traditional bench, when you set your scapula in position, they shouldn't move around under load. Push-ups, you don't have that luxury, and the whole of your upper back is shifting, so it's more a stability thing that I'm working on. Push-ups with good form is easy, but your scapula move around, and that doesn't happen much on the bench press. So having my upper back being challenged and just worked for volumes in that essence works really, really well, and I don't end up risking my shoulders or anything like that, because worst case scenario, I just lower myself to the ground and no problem. It's better than getting pinned under a heavy bar. The other big one that I get from the push-ups is my Serratus Anterior. Definitely gets a workout, and I never get that on the bench press. And today as well, to help with the bench press work, I do my pull-ups. Pull-ups have shifted. I'm not going for like the reps of 20. Typically going more 10 sets of 10, keeping the break times quite low. Sometimes I'll only do 6 or 7 sets, but again, it comes down to just helping grow that upper back, which helps my bench press. It helps my squat to a big extent. Deadlift for me, virtually, it does work my upper back, but that's nowhere near where I fail. My failing point on deadlift is always going to be my lower back or abs. So having the extra strength for the upper back for deadlifts doesn't give me much of a carryover at all. But 2 out of 3 lifts really isn't bad for such a simple movement. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to comment below, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day wherever you are.